Just testing a few things real quick before we start the official stream status. Alright, it says I am streaming now. Let's take a look here. Alright, okay, yeah, looks like we're on. Everything's pretty good. Hey, what's going on, guys? Just make sure we're not clipping any audio sources. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. What do you think about that? Yeah, it sounds relatively pretty dynamic. Alright guys, so yeah, just doing a 2-week check-in here that I picked this guitar up. I think it was on what, let me take a look on the calendar here, on the Friday of the 9th. Was it the 9th I got this, or was it the 2nd? I think it was the 2nd I got this, or maybe, I think I actually got this on the 4th, yeah. So this is 2 weeks in, essentially, from about the day I got this guitar, because I did buy it on a Sunday. So I got this March 4th, 2018, and I'm just coming back to, you know, give some check-in status on this. So 2 weeks out, what are my thoughts on the Chapman? My previous video for this guitar actually got a lot of hits. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe, please comment. Let's have a dialogue, you know. You can say anything you want in the comments. I'm pretty much not going to delete your comment unless you're just an outright jerk, but you know how that goes, right? Anyways, yeah, go ahead and subscribe and like this video, share it with your friends. So 2 weeks into having this guitar, I had made a video about this 2 weeks ago when I first got it. And I was really excited to have it, and with good reason, because this is for the money. Let's just get it out there right now. I paid full price for this guitar. $433.01 I think is what my original receipt says. And I wasn't paid, I wasn't given any discounts, any artist like discounts or any artist pricing or any of that, man. I paid for this guitar my damn self out of money out of my savings account, right? This is my own purchase, and with that being said, you guys know historically I've not been the best Chapman, you know, like fan or supporter for my own personal reasons, which, you know, are relatively nitpicky and invalid and douchey. But with that all being said, I love this guitar, okay? And my first couple of nights with it, I was really kind of, you know, the honeymoon effect, right? It's like, oh my God, I love this guitar. It's amazing. It's a great guitar. And then you kind of get over it, right? Like, my honeymoon effect was more centered around like some of the physical aspects of this guitar, not necessarily like you know, like was the finish good, or, I mean, because let's be honest, right? You know, this is a killer finish guitar, right? This is killer, and it's gonna get dinged up, you know. So I don't. My intentions on buying a $400 guitar were not to like put it in a display case, and you know. What I'm getting at is that my problems with this guitar were not centered around anything to do with like the quality of the craftsmanship or anything like that, right? My problems with this guitar, and which really aren't problems, okay? It was just I had to recalibrate myself, was in all actuality the scale length, right? It's a really long guitar, and the neck protrudes from the body, and I feel like it's got a little bit of neck sag. Now, granted, I am wearing like a jersey, so it is a kind of a slicky material, you know, a slicky, sporty material. But it has a little bit of neck sag, and the thing about the neck sag is because the neck is so far out there and it's so long and the scale length is so long, I didn't realize this until like this year in my life, what exact scale length is best for me, and it's really this pink guitar here. And so that is essentially a little bit smaller than a Gibson scale length, but like I mean by a little bit smaller, like an eighth of an inch smaller than a Gibson scale length. And this is like a little bit longer, I think, than like a Fender scale length. So what does that mean? So for playing in standard tuning, to me the tension on these strings was too much. And I just want to preface that by saying I'm running 8s on this guitar. So 8s, super slinky 8s, right? Extra slinky or whatever, 8s, and then a 52 on the low strings of 52. So 52 to 8, do the math, okay? That's just for my metal guitars, like my Ibanez and my my Brisket Burst here, the PRS Holcomb guitar. I literally run 8 through 52. That's just to me like a modern, effortless playing. I'm not trying too hard, just not trying to get carpal tunnel syndrome. I do have, you know, clinically diagnosed arthritis in my hands because of my motorcycle riding past. And so I mean, like, I can't like grip, you know, force choke anybody with my hands. And so as a consequence of that, I'm kind of disabled in my hands. And so I play 8s, right, in standard tuning, generally speaking. And so long story short, coming to this guitar, one of the things I immediately noticed, and I believe it was strung with 9s or maybe 10s, was like, dude, those strings were bulletproof, man. It was just like, oh my God, this hurts my hand to play the guitar because the scale length was so long and the strings were so thick. I immediately changed out the strings to my 8 to 52 set here, and it was still too stiff in standard tuning. And so I realized about mid last week, oh yeah, this is a metal guitar, you know. This is my cat's going crazy over here. He's just like totally pawing. This is a metal guitar, and you know, here I am trying to play standard tuning in a metal guitar, and it's like, oh yeah, I need to detune this. And so I instantly tuned it down half a step with a C sharp drop, and it sounded great. It felt great. It was like, oh my God, yeah, I like the guitar now. Yeah, like I'm totally in love with the guitar, right? Like, okay, yeah, that's right. It needs to be detuned in order for me to appreciate fully the entirety of the scale length and what exactly it means, right? And so this comes down to more of a conversation about what tool am I going to use, right? Like, so if I'm going to hammer a nail, I'm not going to use a screwdriver edge, right? Like the handle of a screwdriver. I'm going to use a hammer, right? And so if I'm going to play metal guitar, detuned, this guitar is for that. And that brought me to an education point in my reality that, like, okay, yeah, the reason why scale lengths need to be longer in most cases is for detuned or to increase the tension on guitars. And so that made me reevaluate and recognize things that I like, okay? The things that I like in a guitar are a loose fill, right? I'm not trying to, like, because I have arthritis in my hands, I'm not trying to, like, you know, I mean, I can't shred because of that, right? Because of my arthritis. And so a little bit of a disability, I need to have 8s on my strings, and sometimes even 7s feel great on standard tuning on longer scale length guitars. In fact, on several of these Ibanez's, I have 7 to 52 because they're a longer scale length, and I'm playing in standard or a semitone below, and that's how I get my tension correct. So for me, like, I remember Fluff had a video on his Ernie Ball product demonstration, essentially, right, where he's going through all of the products that Ernie Ball has, the strings, and he made a comment to me. This is like a 2 or 3 year old video now, I think. To me, kind of like bounced off my head, and the reason why is because I disagree with that, and the reason why I disagree with that is because of my disability in my hands. He's like, you know, in order to get the correct tension, and that's such a subjective, you know, descriptor. It's like, so what exactly is a correct tension? I mean, can you quantify that, right? Can you say, okay, 42 pounds per square inch is the correct tension? I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know what the correct tension is on a guitar, okay? But I'm just saying, like, if 42 pounds, just throwing a number out there, if 42 pounds is the correct tension on a guitar, is that the same for you and for me? No. For me, because of my hand disability, let's say I need 35 pounds per square inch on the string tension, right? So I'm just saying that the only gripe I had with this guitar was the scale length. But once I put smaller strings on it and detuned it, I was able to get that slinky feel out of it. So with that being said, I've got nothing bad to say about this guitar. I love it. It's for a $430 guitar with the gig bag. It's actually priced at $360, I think, without the gig bag, but I don't know if you can buy it without the gig bag. But for $430, this guitar is easily the best value per pound. I would say up to about the $1,000 range, right? So for a guitar of this quality and you know, just togetherness, you know, the way it's packaged, the way everything works together, I would easily have paid for $749, you know, like getting to middle Ibanez, lower middle Ibanez territory. And I said in the previous video that I believe this guitar is easily on point with the PRS Holcomb Burst that I have up there, that Brisket Burst guitar, that PRS Korean guitar that I got for like $9.99, right? Like those $1,000 PRS guitars, this is easily right there with them in terms of like the masterness of the construction and the way everything comes together. And like I said, I'm not being paid to say this. I'm sure Chapman doesn't know who I am, and the only interaction he had with me has been a negative interaction. And so, you know, I think he could care less what I think, but I'm just saying this is a great product. I really enjoy this product. In fact, I purchased another guitar last week, which is this Gretsch on the other side of the pink guitar. This Gretsch right here. And I like that guitar good. It was a $4.99 guitar from Sweetwater. And that also being its own type of tool, you know, the Filtertron style guitar. Broadtron, I think, is a pickup sender, right? It's a great tool for that. But when it comes down to like being a metal machine, this guitar is the metal machine, right? This is definitely, without any question, a Ferrari when it comes to like doing some metal. And the only thing I probably would have changed on it would have been like a floating bridge. But, you know, even in the context of metal, a floating bridge can be a pain in the ass when you're detuned and you have drop tune strings. Got a great presence and set of manners for a detune. So I'm actually in D with a drop. What does that make this? C? Yeah, so this is a D drop C. I actually like the way it felt in half a step down. So like E flat, drop C sharp. I really like the way it felt there. Yeah, and I understand why the scale length and the design is that it is because this is a full-on gent machine, okay? And the woods chose, the way it's constructed, the pickup design, the scaling to the neck, the way all of this is a gent guitar metal machine. And yes, you can do other things with it, hence the coil split, right? Like for the neck. You can do... Yeah, there you go, see? Totally, but because of the scale length, right, like... those lower notes and figurings, right, are nice and throaty and very dynamic and have free reign to resonate through the guitar, the length and the scale. I mean, it's still going. Listen to that. And admittedly, I have a lower action, maybe lower than I need. Hence some of the buzzing, right? Great guitar, totally great instrument for that. So like, you know, as far as like progress report, 2-week check-in, totally really nice, righteous guitar for the money. As soon as these hit the used market, I anticipate these keeping their value because of the, you know, the public figure phenomenon of Rob Chapman, right? I imagine that it'll be a couple of years till these start coming down in value. Incidentally, Brad the guitarologist had a video yesterday, I think it was, or it might have been Friday, where he was talking about Gibson being down, I mean not Gibson, Guitar Center being downrated again, right? So, you know, who knows how this relationship with Chapman and Guitar Center is going to exist and how long it's going to exist. And so my rating on this guitar and all Chapman guitars available through Guitar Center is that's probably a limited time only thing. And so if I was you, if you're on the fence and you want a Chapman guitar, you probably better act now. You probably better go buy one as soon as you can. And if the one if you get a turd, then try another one, which I doubt it. I mean, you know, who knows what's going to happen at Guitar Center if they're going to be, you know, declare bankruptcy and, you know, get bought out, or who knows what'll happen with that relationship between Chapman and your ability as an American like me. Your ability to easily acquire Chapman then goes drastically down, right, at that point. If Guitar Center goes away, if the relationship between Guitar Center and Chapman goes away, you have to go through Rift City, or, you know, who knows how you'll get your Chapmans at that point, right? Maybe he'll have to go through smaller vendors again. But, you know, as all things being equal, I would consider a Chapman guitar right now a buy. Definitely get one. And enjoy. Buy and enjoy, right? So, with all that being said, great resonance, man. And it has everything to do with the woods and the electronics, like the... What I mean by the woods is not tone woods particularly. What I mean by the woods is the way everything is put together. The tolerances between like the neck pocket and the way the neck fits in there are very, very snug. Very snug. And that causes, you know, reverberation and transfer of vibration through the whole length of the guitar, allowing it to vibrate, right? Not a Tonewood person. I'm a Tonewood warrior myself, and I don't believe in Tonewood. But what I'm saying is, I believe that the way these are constructed, it's not a dud. The guitar I got is not a dud. Playing through my Kemper here, using Rock Me Crunch #1 patch. I don't know how I acquired this patch. It may have come through the exchange for all I know, but I really enjoy the patch. So some of the questions I had on the previous video were like, what did the neck feel like? In my humble estimation, the neck feels a little bit bigger than an Ibanez, a little bit bigger than a Jackson, you know, like shredder style guitar, right? A little bit more meat in there so you can like feel comfort with it, and I like the way the neck profile is on this guitar. Like I said in the previous video, the fret ends are fabulous. I mean, I can't feel any fret end like damage or inconsistencies or any of that stuff. The feel behind the neck being wood, exposed wood, matte finish, you know, not being glossed is great. I mean, I do that to all my guitars, by the way, right? Like, all these guitars behind me, I literally sanded the backs of all the necks with, you know, 000 and 000 steel wool to get exposure straight to the wood. And then I oiled the back of the necks, and so I did that to this neck. I didn't have to sand it. All I had to do was oil it. And it's just... it gave me my instant, you know, gratification feeling of the way I like my guitar. So that's something you should like try out, right? Like some of the modern Ibanez guitars, etc., come unfinished on the backs, and that's something for me that is a must. Once I cross that threshold in my playing, I never look back. And every guitar, like I said, I went through and sanded them all. And I consider that like a modern innovation, right? Like the fact that guitar companies are doing that type of practice tells you that, you know, Chapman, of course, is listening to his customer base, and this is what the customers wanted, and so this is what they made, and this is what I got. I'm down with that. I used to think it was kind of silly, but I understand, right? Like, I'm totally a Chapman believer now. I still think he's kind of eccentric, but I enjoy, I'm enjoying this guitar, and I'm looking forward to, you know, maybe playing a Pro, a Chapman Pro at some point, $1,000 price point, you know, like the $900 price point. But for now, for a $433 guitar, this is amazing. Like I said, the only problems I have with it are, like I said, the neck's a little heavy, and so we got a little bit of neck sag. And this is a wide strap, you know, the Jimi Hendrix JH3 or whatever it is strap, the Dunlop Jimi Hendrix. This isn't like a skinny strap, but then again, I am wearing some sports material, so it is kind of slicky. Other than that, and that's not a deal breaker, man, because like once it levels out to where it wants to be, the guitar doesn't feel like it's going to go all the way down like my other Jacksons. Some of my Jacksons do. My Jacksons, they feel like they're going to fall all the way down, and so you're constantly having to hold the guitar while you play. I don't feel like that with this. I feel like it just wants to get to a certain position, and once we're there, we're good to play. And when I kind of pivot it off my belly with the belly cut and all that, I can kind of hold it in the you know, the proper playing position with counter pressure from my arm on the body, so it's not a deal breaker. You know, the way the ergonomics of this guitar are, you know, a Tele with Stratocaster physical features with regards to the cuts and the carves. The way this guitar, I mean, it's like the perfect amalgamation of Strat, metal, Telecaster, and then, you know, the for me, I like a split neck position. I will say, there's one thing, the next Chapman guitar I'll get, if they make it, okay, this is just an open letter to Bia and to Rob, I want a Bia economy priced guitar, where I can just drop my own pickups in there and get what I want. So I want like a Bia guitar for sub $500. I still got to do another truss rod adjustment on this thing to get some of my buzzing of the strings, because I have the action solo. helix, this Kemper profile. Yeah, like I said, if you're kind of on the fence with these Chapmans, don't be. Just go ahead and grab one. I really wanted the Super Strat. What is that, the ML1? I played the ML2, and I kind of liked it a lot, but I didn't. The ML2, to me, and the price point that the standard, felt to me like a little too Epiphony. Whereas this ML3, like, there isn't really a guitar on the market like it, right? I mean, let's talk about that, right? This is an innovative designed guitar, right? So we're talking, what, maple cap? I'm guessing some type of body, right? Exposed maple top. I don't know if that's maple. Who knows? Oh, it's got the maple veneer. That's right. Two-piece maple veneer, coil split. You know, nice locked up bridge that's not going anywhere anytime soon, right? 24 fret on a telly, nice flat radius, you know, very comfortable, very familiar neck, and reverse headstock with the contours, right? Like the contours of the body, the contours of the cutout here, just like Paul Reed Smith. Like, as far as like a guitar of this, can I get another guitar like this? No, you cannot. It is a Chapman, right? It is a Chapman. Chapman's innovative design on this ML3 is the only thing out there on the market that is like it, right? So you get a little bit of Strat, you get a little bit of Tele, you get a little bit of metal, you get a little bit of blues. You know, it's all here in this guitar. So I'm an advocate of the ML3, hardcore advocate of it. What I'm saying is nothing out there on the market currently exists like this, and so that can do everything this guitar wants it to do. The only thing that would make it better would be if it had a floating bridge, but yeah, I mean, it's dangerous sounding, man. It's just like, for the scale length and everything, it's really a great. Yeah, it's got a lot of great tension in the strings. What happens when guitar companies try to make something innovative like this, where it's incorporating many different elements into something, is it always feels wrong in some cases, right? Like, a great example of that would probably be like the Parallel Universe Fender guitars that came out for 2018. I'm sure some of those guitars are going to feel like a mutt, right? They're going to feel like a warthog. They're going to feel like they look and feel like a certain thing, but they don't deliver on anything good. I'm not saying that those Fender guitars are going to feel like it, but I have a suspicion that that may be the case. But in relative context to this guitar, because it is incorporating several elements to make it what it is, this does not feel like a mutt. This does not feel like a warthog or like a little, like, you know, trying to ride a piggy into town. This feels natural and it feels great. It's just a really nice. I personally like a reverse headstock, and I have like multiple reverse headstock guitars, and for me, this guitar delivers that. So it ticks all the boxes I could have wanted, and had I had a chance to custom design my own telly from the ground up, I suspect it would have been something along these lines. And I have something to back that up, okay? This pink Telecaster right here that's on top of the Vox is my GFS, Guitar Fetish, pink paisley, was it Palomino body, wood, custom guitar that I bought the body from GFS Guitars, and it came already finished. All I had to do was literally bolt on the neck and put my electronics in there. I got the neck I wanted from eBay, which was a Telecaster, not finished, like not gloss neck. I mean, if you look at the neck, you've seen it on my videos. That is like by far, like if I ever got a chance and the opportunity to make my own custom shop guitar, it would be that guitar, reverse headstock, with the contours that this Chapman has and maybe some binding. Literally, it would be that guitar with some of the elements from this guitar. And so that's what I'm saying, right? Like if you're into Telecaster single cut style guitars, this is as good as it gets. I haven't played the Pro. I don't know how those feel, but they have like an arch top, which is another innovation. But this guitar feels great, right? Like if I was playing a metal concert tonight and I was genting my ass off on the stage, I would totally feel absolutely at home rocking this guitar. I wouldn't have any reservation taking it. And I'm confident that even, playing this guitar, people would be like, oh, wow, he's playing a Chapman, because they're rare. They're very unique. And there's only so many of them made, And so in all honesty, the $400 price point overseas guitar nailed it. This guitar nailed it. It's a great presentation of what manufacturing in 2018 in the lower budget echelons of price point can produce. And so, don't feel nervous about picking one of these up. And if there's any imperfections on it, come here and talk to me about it. With regards to like, how do I fix the neck? How do I make the neck feel the way I want to? Or what do I do with electronics? I'll walk you through anything, because I, as a guitar tech myself, I'll show you how to solder. I'll show you how to do the truss rod adjustment. I'll show you how you get intonated. And I didn't have to do any intonation on this guitar. Love this guitar. With this Kemper patch, For a stock guitar, I haven't done anything to except change the strap buttons so I can use my Shaler style neck or straps. All my guitars have them, so I really have like 6 or 7 straps that I use on the same guitars because I have that strap button system on them. Just can you hear that? Can you? And these headphones, and I don't have the bass boosted, I have it like on a pretty flat response on these wireless headphones. It sounds so rich and full and big because of the pickups, because of the string I have on there, the 52 on the low. It just really has a nice, well-defined, hardcore low end that's just, you know, so really, for me, for my money, for $430, I really just don't feel like I got gypped or screwed or any of that stuff, man. I really haven't found any finish imperfections, and even if there were, I wouldn't care, honestly, because the truth is that the guitar would get its ass beat over time anyways, you know? I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, you drop a guitar, it falls over. My cat, this little black guy right here in particular, little Tigger, he will start loving and rubbing and pawing and scratching, and he will knock all my guitars over. And that is like reason number 1,000 why I have guitar wall hangers, is because this little guy will knock them over, and he does. And I even have a Gibson, this one right here, the Woodburst guitar. He actually bit the headstock and like was just gnawing on it. And so on both sides of that bookend Gibson headstock, there's bite marks, right? And so, you know, I mean, for $400, $430, who cares? You know, if there's a finish imperfection, right? I mean, and mine luckily didn't have any. It's perfect, right? I'm really happy with this finish. I'm really happy with the reveal binding job they did all the way around the totality of the instrument. I'm happy with the way all these cavities are recessed, and even the Forellis are recessed, and the neck pickup, the neck screws are all recessed. It's flush back here, man. It feels like a Strat. It's a Telecaster that feels like a Strat with a longer scale length, so you can totally, you know, detune down to C sharp, like, or I'm in C, you know, D drop C tuning. And it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel like it doesn't belong. It feels like it's totally... I remember watching In the Blues Shane when he had come across some Chapman guitars, and he made the offhanded comment like, oh, a Tele, an LP and a Strat style guitar, great innovation. And yeah, on the surface you think that, right? But let's be honest here, like if you're a guitar company, you really only can make those and a couple of E's, you know, like only a certain amount of guitars are going to be profitable and sell to a wide majority of players. And so yeah, it is a Tele, it is a Gibson, and it is a Strat. Those are like the three designs. And then let's throw in that Paul Reed Smith, you know, like their custom 24 style guitar, right? Like those are the four body shapes that sell guitar, and you really can only do so much within that context. And a great example of that is Gibson. Gibson makes an LP style guitar, and they can only do so much with it because their player base freaks the hell out. Every year Gibson does an innovation to change the design of like their, not the traditionals, but like the, you know, like the moderns, right? And every time they do something, people freak out, right? Like, and the funniest thing for me, and I'm kind of getting off on a jag here, but this is something I've been meaning to say for quite some time. I think, was it 2015 or was it between like 2010 and 2012 was the 100-year anniversary, or the 100th birthday of Les Paul, the man himself, right? And on that year of guitars, Gibson actually had Les Paul's signature, Les Paul 100 on it, right? Like Les Paul's actual hand signature, right? And everybody freaked out that year because it's not the Les Paul signature, you know, the big scripty one that you see on the Gibson headstock. It's not that. Everybody freaked out. And it's like, dude, what's more important and valid? Les Paul's actual hand signature, or the traditional big loopy Les Paul signature written out there? And some of the people who I've listened to and who I watch and who I admire have actually referenced that and said it looks stupid. And I'm like, dude, no. That's actually Les Paul's handwritten signature. And to me, maybe I'm the only guy in the room who enjoys that. But to me, having a love letter written by my wife in her handwriting, is in her hand and a pen and a piece of paper, is more sentimental to me than like having a love letter written by my wife, you know, on a text message, you know? And so when that whole Les Paul signature thing, I kind of liken it to that, right? Like, and what am I getting at by saying that? What I'm getting at by saying that is even the big boys, Gibson, can only do so much with their guitar to deviate from like traditional in the box manufacturing and display of the product. But yet Chapman with this guitar has created the perfect mutt, you know, an amalgamation of Telecaster, Fender, and scale length, reverse headstock. So the ML3 is the best guitar, and the only thing I would do different to this guitar is probably put a floating bridge. And what I really want from Chapman and from Bia is to make the Bia signature guitar in an economy mode, and that's my final thing right there, right? You know, the only thing I would replace this guitar with would be the Bia economy signature guitar. Seriously, if Bia made the single coil neck and then a bridge, even if there were Chapman wound, Chapman, you know, approved pickups, you know, and not like Seymour Duncan 59 and you know, brand name pickups. If they were just in-house pickups, I would totally buy that guitar. I would even buy that guitar up to $500 or $700 because it's essentially this guitar, but with the single neck and bridge. And to me, those things are important. That's what I like. I don't necessarily like the way a neck feels split, unless you change the capacitors and or the pot values. Because for me, what I like in a neck split is to Strat very ballsy and throaty, but with enough highs to give me a jangly feel to it. And then conversely, on a bridge, what I like on a bridge is warm and slightly dark. So that leads me to the final thing I'll mention in this video, and it's kind of like the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky John Mayer guitar. I don't like the radius of that guitar, so I probably will never buy it unless they made a flatter radius version and economy price one, so like the Korean SE style, like my brisket burst here. If they made like a you know, and I'm sure they will, they'll make a Strat that's, you know, sub $1,000, sub $700 probably, with a flatter neck to appeal to more players. But one thing I would say is, for me, and what I thought was actually innovative of John Mayer, is the pickup selection, right? The way he oriented his pickups, where the neck is nice and throaty and jangly and has highs, and the bridge is kind of deep and warm and not so spiky. That's exactly how I like guitar pickups. And I evolved independently of that John Mayer. I've never played one. I could care less about the drama. But when I saw that that's how those pickups are arranged, I was like, that's right. That's the way guitar Strat pickups in my mind should be. The bridge shouldn't be like this ice pick, harsh, little tiny sounding pickup. To me, that's a waste of a pickup space. And so what I typically do on a lot of my Strats is I'll put a neck Strat pickup in the bridge to give it some warmth and to bring out a warmer character and vibe. And on one of them, actually, this one, the bridge pickup's in the neck, and the neck pickup is in the bridge, so that I get a deeper aspect in the bridge and a higher pitched aspect in the neck. That's just the way I am. And so with that being said, you know, those are things that over time, having multiple guitars and developing your taste through trying out many different things, you're able to definitively say, I like such and I don't like that. And so with that being said, with my multiple guitars here on the wall, I hope you take my opinion seriously when I say this is a great guitar. Because I have multiple necks, multiple scale lengths, multiple designs, multiple radii, multiple types of pickups, multiple types of carves, multiple types of woods here at my disposal, and I choose to play this guitar because it's great and the scale length is fabulous for detuning, which is important because if you want to balls out rock and gent, you got to do it low. And the only way that sounds good and not flubby is by having big thick strings on it and a longer scale length tuned down. That's how you get that thing. Unfortunately for me, like I mentioned, with my disability in my hand, I can't necessarily have a higher scale, like a longer scale length with, you know, 9 to 42s or 10 to 56s I literally play 8 to 52, and the 52 is there just to support the lower end. So later on this week, things to look out for. I will be demoing and running through the Gretsch right there. So that's one of the Electromatics that Sweetwater has available. It was announced in NAMM 2018, Winter NAMM, where they talked about the new stuff that Gretsch had coming out. And spoiler alert, that guitar is amazing. They basically made a Gibson. They basically took all the things that a Gibson has and made it better for a lower price, or about on par price, $4.99 with an Epiphone, and it doesn't have a crappy headstock. It's made overseas in China. The headstock looks great. The guitar is perfect. That Gretsch over there. The pickups sound good. It's $4.99. The paint's on point, and Gibson can't do that, right? For whatever reason, Gibson will not make overseas economy Gibson branded Gibson headstock guitars, and that's at their own peril. Because they don't do that, they struggle, and so they relegate that market, that niche market, to Epiphone. But nobody wants an Epiphone headstock, okay? I'm going to say it again. Nobody wants an Epiphone headstock. And I wouldn't mind if they had the Gibson headstock on Epiphones, if it said Gibson on the top and then Epiphone in the middle, like where the Les Paul signature is. Like if they even scripted Epiphone just like the Les Paul signature right across the top and then Gibson on the top with the full Gibson headstock, that will sell. And it has to be made overseas, and it has to be sub $500 or $700. That strategy, right, strategic price point and strategic design, will save Gibson. But if they do not do that, who knows what the future is for them. Anyways, guys, that's been this video. 45 minutes, going on 50 minutes, live stream. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think about, you know, some of my statements here in this video. What do you think about the guitar? Have you picked up a Chapman? Did you like it? Was your experience as good as mine was? I literally bought this the week the Chapmans came out at Guitar Center, and it was the last Chapman in Dallas where I lived. I literally bought the last Chapman guitar, and it was meant to be because this guitar is amazing. It's really amazing. I'm gonna go get me some chicken tenders. I'm literally, after I turn this off and I turn the camera and the lights off, I'm gonna shut the computer down and go to Raising Cane's Chicken down the street and get me a 4-pack of chicken tenders and that chicken tender sauce. Oh yeah, it's about to be on. I am starving. I haven't eaten since like 8 this morning. It's 2 o'clock now. It's been great hanging out with you guys. I really enjoyed doing this live stream. Tell me what you think, man. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, and keep the dialogue going, man. You know, I really appreciate you guys' comments in the previous video. Looking forward to hearing them on this video as well, man. So that's been this video, guys. I really enjoyed, you know, my 2-week check-in with this Chapman guitar. I hope that you've liked it. I hope that I've been able, and actually, if you read the comments on my previous video, there's been a lot of people saying, I'm going to go buy that guitar because of this video. And so I hope that with this video, this new video, the new addition to my 2-part Chapman series, that you also have enjoyed everything I've had to say about it. Anyway, so I'll catch you guys next week. Stay safe, make it through the week, and be on the lookout for my Gretsch demo video. I'll do that probably, hopefully this week or this weekend. And then the weekend after, I'm actually going to be out of town. I'm just going to try to go visit my parents on the 30th, you know, like that night, Friday night. So I may not be able to do a live stream then, but we'll probably looking for a live stream on April 7th or April 8th, actually. So next live stream will probably be April 8th. If we don't do one this weekend on the 24th, we'll see how this weekend comes up. Yeah, guys, that's been this video. Please subscribe, like, comment. I'd like to get my videos re-monetized again. And so as you can tell, I only have 700 and some odd subscribers. I need 1,000, so I need 200 subscribers. So I'm not trying to beg, but please help me out. All right, guys, that's been this video. Rock on and catch y'all later. See you next time.